Hey, gorgeous people, it's Brontespicer. Thank you so much for joining me. It's wonderful to have you here. Today, I want to speak about how your overwhelm is your medicine, and perhaps just I want to pose that question: could your overwhelm potentially be your medicine? So it's right now in this day and age, it's normal for us to feel overwhelmed. There is so much chaos happening on the planet. We see it on our news feeds, we see it on the news, we hear about it, we feel it. There's destruction right across the planet. There's social injustices, domestic violence, child abuse, um, chip programs, vaccinations, global vaccinations, and anything and everything else in between that might be frightening you and overwhelming you. So, this idea that your overwhelm could be your medicine, it sounds strange because we don't really generally want to feel overwhelmed. We want to feel peaceful and free, and we want to feel calm and relaxed about our future and about being here on the planet. But I wonder whether this overwhelm, this sense of overwhelm, could be your very medicine. I'm offering this question to you because this is what I have felt. I have felt that everything that I have tried to resist and escape, and really all of those feelings that have felt uncomfortable and unsafe for me, when I've really welcomed those here in the now and allowed them fully to be here in my body, I have felt this immense peace and freedom. And I refer to that peace, that immense peace and freedom, as unity consciousness. Unity consciousness is that process of combining and merging both the light and the dark. And we're always on a mission as human beings to seek the light and just feel good and be and feel beautiful and feel lovely and content and satisfied. And when those feelings, those dark feelings come, like anger, frustration, despair, sadness, overwhelm come, our tendency is to escape them and want them to go away. And when we allow those feelings to be here, then we can merge and we can allow all of what comes with those emotions that we resist, be in our body, and that's a complete surrender. It's a complete arrival in the here and now, and it's a complete embracing and accepting of what is here in the moment. So for you to even grapple this idea that your overwhelm could potentially be your medicine, I need to explain to you that there are three things, or the way that we create meaning can be broken down to three things, and those three things are words, pictures, and body sensations. So words or thoughts, pictures or those mental images that we have in our heads about the past or the future, and the body sensations. So we have sensations in the body that that shift and change depending on what feelings we have. So when we take something like overwhelm, that is a feeling, and there are probably words that go with that feeling. So the words might be like, it's unsafe to be here on the planet, or I'm worried about having a chip put in me in 10 years' time. So there's words there. The images could be an image of the future, or an image of your children in the future, and it might look like a chaotic picture of what the future looks like for your children. And those pictures and those words we really tend to shy away from, and particularly those people on a spiritual path who understand how we create our reality through our thoughts. So we really we tend to shy away from looking at those words and pictures that are confronting and scary, because we don't want to perpetuate our reality. The problem with that is that when we dismiss and deny what's here, including those beliefs and thoughts and imagery and memories, rather than looking at them and witnessing and allowing them to come to the surface and be here in the moment, we're suppressing them and we're pushing them down. And they don't tend to go anywhere. They just get lodged and blocked in our emotional bodies, and they don't go anywhere. So it's best to raise them and bring them to the surface so you can see them. So there are words, there are pictures associated with your overwhelm, and there are body sensations. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, you might have a constriction in the chest, or maybe you have a tightening in your throat, or maybe you've got sensations or pain through your arms or your legs, or maybe you just have this overwhelming sense of nerves throughout your whole body. And again, those sensations are sensations that we tend to run away from. We tend to try and escape. We might make ourselves busy and put our attention on something else so we don't have to feel it. So this is really what I'm speaking about, is the Velcro effect, which is founded by Scott Killaby. So please look out for his work, because it's profound and it's had an incredible impact on my life, where I was experiencing depression for 22 years, and I was medicated for depression for 12 years, and I used the Killaby inquiries techniques in particular to heal my own depression. So I know what overwhelm is like, and I use these techniques to start using my feelings as my own medicine, and I started arriving more fully into this space of unity consciousness, where that immense freedom and peace was available to me or it is available to me on a daily basis when I allow and accept and welcome those feelings like overwhelm in my body. So what resists persists. So what we are resisting, it continues to show up. And so we tend to keep running away from these nasty feelings like overwhelm that we don't want to feel. Or maybe we'll throw ourselves into activism, and that will come from that immense fear of what the planet looks like right now. And there is that resistance to looking at the fear, or what we're frightened of, or those nasty feelings, or our pain from the past. For me, the fear was, if I really let myself feel my emotions and feel this overwhelm or dread, as it would come a lot as throughout my phase of being in depression, I felt like I would drown. And so I really want to highlight now how important it is to have your inner work techniques that work. So knowing particular practices and techniques that work for you to really break down and process and work with the emotions that are here, like overwhelm. So I'll speak now about the Velcro effect, which is what Scott Killaby talks about. And it comes back to this idea that the way that we create meaning, it can be broken down to three things, including words, or the thoughts or the stories that you hear in your mind; pictures, which are the mental imagery that you see either for the past or the future; and body sensations, which are those sensations that we feel in the body. So that those felt sensations in the body. So Scott Killaby talks about the Velcro effect. The Velcro effect is when we are stuck in our emotions, and we're stuck in that overwhelm. And so if you can have a think of what Velcro looks like, there are two layers of Velcro. And so if you imagine that the top layer of Velcro are the words and the pictures that come into mind. And let's take overwhelm as an example. And then the bottom layer of Velcro is the sensations. So when we have the words and the pictures stuck to the sensations, we're stuck in the story. We're stuck in that overwhelm. And that's how we create meaning in our life. So when we start to use the killer bee inquiries, we're using techniques to separate the Velcro. We're separating the Velcro. We're separating the words and the pictures from the sensations. And it, generally speaking, what we're doing is through using these techniques, we're looking at the words and the pictures from this present, gentle, open awareness. And we're just looking at these words, these very words, either with your eyes closed and you're looking at the visual of the words on an imaginary screen in your mind's eye, or you can use a blank wall in the room where you've got your eyes open and you're plastering those words on the blank wall so you can see them. And the same with the pictures. And then you start to welcome in the space that's all around those words and those pictures. And what happens is that when you welcome in the space and you're really just allowing yourself fully to look at these words and pictures that you've been really terrified to look at, you start to notice the intricacies and the detail of these words and pictures. You notice that there are letters that create these words. You notice that there's space in between each letter. You notice the different shapes and the colours of the pictures that are there. And you can really notice that there's space to the left and to the right and above and below these words and pictures. You can notice that there is space in between you and the words and the pictures, and you can notice that there's space behind the words and the pictures. And what tends to happen is when you just allow these words and pictures fully to be here, then they start to dissolve. And so that is like taking the words and the pictures, taking that top layer of the Velcro off the Velcro. And so you're just left with the sensation. So when you start to really allow those words and pictures fully to be there and they dissolve, then you're just left with that sensation. So you can deepen your breath, take a nice big deep breath and come down into the body and really welcome and allow yourself to be with the sensations that are here. And what you're doing there is you're being and meeting and nurturing and allowing those sensations that may have been stored in the body for years and years from your past. That may be energy that has been collected and stored in your emotional body from your childhood. And then once again, this is another process of just allowing these sensations to be here fully, really welcoming. And you can welcome the space too, so that feels supportive if these sensations feel really strong. And rather than trying to get rid of these sensations, what we're doing is we're welcoming these sensations in the here and now. And we're handing our whole body over to these sensations. So if you have a pain in your neck, and we generally want to get rid of the pain, we're trying to get rid of the pain. And through that process, we're denying that the very sensations that are attached to this experience or to this emotion, like overwhelm. So when we welcome and say, you're welcome to stay here as long as you're welcome to stay here as long as you like, and tell this sensation that it can have your whole body. So you hand over your whole body and surrender your whole body to this sensation so it can move freely through your body. What that does is it opens the space for this emotion, these sensations to be fully felt. And then they never last. They never drown you. They never stay. When we allow ourselves to get out of our own way and allow those sensations to process in the way that they innately know how to, then we eventually come to a space of peace and freedom where there is no sensation that's attached to that story or to that idea or belief about life, and that might be that overwhelm. So our emotional body has this incredible intelligence that it knows what to do. It knows how to process emotions. Our emotional body knows how to process emotions. And so this really, by learning how your overwhelm is the very thing that is the pathway and the gateway for you to open to this immense peace and freedom. It's almost like allowing what's here that you always want to go away, allowing that to be here fully without the label. So when we're taking the words and the picture away, we're just left with the sensation. It's just a sensation. It's not the story of us living in an overwhelming world. So when you're using these techniques, you're taking the words and the pictures away, and you're just left with this sensation, and you can just be with that sensation. So this does take practice. It does take a willingness for you to come into your meditation space, which can be just a pillow on the floor or a couple of cushions on the floor. And this is, or even just sitting on a chair. And this is a process of you just allowing yourself fully to be here, where you're noticing the body sensations that are here, present. And the more that you do this, the more that you slow down in your life and you allow those sensations to be here and mine out the words and the pictures that come with those sensations, so we're not stuck in the story, then you can experience this unity consciousness, this peace and freedom. So when you feel that sense of overwhelm, um, it's almost, this is a celebration. We want to celebrate the anger, the frustration, the sadness, the depression, the overwhelm. We want to celebrate. This is exciting because when this comes up, you have this opportunity to clear it. You have this opportunity to feel it and welcome it, accept it, embrace it, love it. And when you do that, then you're clearing your field, and your life is a whole lot more peaceful and free, where the fear-based matrix just starts to dissolve in your world, because you realize that this immense freedom and peace is available to you, and you can experience this throughout your life when you allow yourself fully to be here in the moment. I'll just finish off with the last part to the Velcro effect. So when the words and the pictures are stuck to the sensations in the body, we call that you're stuck in Velcro. So, and that's when you're really feeling really angry about someone, or you're blaming someone, or you're feeling horrible about yourself, or you're really terrified about where the world is going. And so that's like sitting in your mess. And when we sit with the sensations, that's different to sitting in Velcro or sitting in your mess, because when we sit in our own mess that has the words and pictures attached to the sensations, we're re-traumatizing ourselves. We're sitting in trauma. We're re-triggering this trauma. And so it is really important that you know these techniques to know how to separate and lift and dissolve the words and the pictures from the sensation. So when you're feeling your feelings, this is not this is not a process of you sitting in your own mess and sitting re-traumatizing yourself. You really need to know the techniques to shift the words and the pictures away, dissolve them, which is a very simple technique. And if you're interested, then please reach out and I'd love to teach you and show you. When you come to that sensation, then you're not sitting in trauma, you're not sitting in the story, you're not sitting in the mess, you're simply just sitting with sensations. And when you can allow those sensations to be here, there's nothing to run from. You feel safe in this world, and you're free, and this expansive nature of being is present and available for you, where there is no problem in the world. So, and that's what's available for you when you learn how to bring unity consciousness into your everyday. And that's what I love to teach. So if this resonates with you, then reach out and follow my YouTube channel as well, because there'll be more videos on this very topic. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you soon.